are you?
Good, good. Well, welcome everyone to our Wednesday night Ceilidh Falcha, our first in the new year that is not live, but doing a bit of an interview and some tunes, and very happy to have Katie McNally with us on fiddle and Neil Pearlman on piano. So welcome to both of you.
Thanks.
Great to be here.
Great to have you. And so I every Wednesday night during January, February, March into April, we change up our Ceilidh schedule a little bit, as those online know. And the last few weeks we've kind of looked back Ceilidhs, looking back to different Ceilidhs that we had in 2024, some great music that was shared. And now we're going to be going to pubs and houses and here at Bain Vavu to start things off with our artists in residence. So we're very lucky to have both Katie and Neil with us for 6 weeks. This is week 4, and I know they're getting a chance to meet some of the local musicians and do lots of things, and we'll talk a little bit about that. I really enjoyed that selection.
Thanks.
The first tune. What's the name of the first tune?
Fenella. I think Paul Cranford wrote it.
Okay, very nice tune.
Yeah, it's
Beautiful tune. And then some nice strathspeys and reels and some familiar ones. There was one that you threw in. It was towards the end. It was maybe the second or third last reel.
Yeah.
An Irishy reel maybe or something? I'm not sure.
There was The Farmer's Daughter, which is that one that's a little more hornpipey, and then The Glen Where the Deer Is.
Okay.
And The Glen Where the Deer Is, that's like a pipe tune. That's the second to last one. I learned that out of one of Jerry Holland's books. But
Nice.
It's definitely a pipe.
Nice tunes. All great stuff. So I'm gonna do a combination of questions for you just to kind of ease our way into it. We're gonna have lots of tunes, and so I'll kick things off. They live, both of them live in Portland today. You grew up in Portland?
Yeah, that's right. Portland, Maine.
And so Portland, Maine, and Katie grew up just outside of Boston.
Yeah, in Westford, Massachusetts.
Westford, so hello to everybody in Westford. We know everybody's watching tonight.
I think my parents are.
For Katie. and everybody from Portland, and across the U.S. and across the world that are watching. And we know that music is your full-time lives, both your employment and your enjoyment, I guess, in those ways. So just to kick things off, just to give people a better appreciation on who you are, maybe you could just tell us, how you started learning how to play music. Do you come from families of music? Who taught you? Some of your influences.
Sure.
I'll start off with Katie. That's
sure. So like I said, I grew up in Massachusetts. And I don't really come from a musical family. My brother played a lot of instruments. My grandmother played some piano. But I was really lucky. There's so much amazing Celtic music in the Boston area, including a lot of Cape Bretoners who moved down for work. My main fiddle teacher growing up is a woman named Hanukkah Castle, who is a huge inspiration to me. She's from the West Coast and grew up going to Alistair Fraser's fiddle camp, so that's kind of how she came to Scottish and Cape Breton music. And like Buddy was teaching out there when she was a kid, and she went out to Skye to learn with Buddy and Alistair. So she was a huge influence on me. But I also simultaneously she sent me to the Boston Harbour Scottish Fiddle School, which I went to first as a student and then as a teacher for a few years. Probably for almost 15 years, 10 to 15 years. And they always had someone over from Scotland and always had someone down from Cape Breton. So I was really lucky to live in a place where there was this highway of Cape Breton musicians always coming down. So Carl Mackenzie was there one year, Stan Chapman was there one year, Kimberly Fraser, Troy McGilvery, Jerry Holland. There was,
all kinds of
loads
great
of
fiddlers. Yeah. So what's pretty neat though. I mean, different influences, right?
Yeah.
So from different people. Obviously, it's influenced your music today now as well in that way.
And I love Cape Breton music and I love Scottish music, and it's been a huge influence on how I play the fiddle. But I you know, I feel like I sound like I'm from Boston. Like I have a little bit of a different sound.
You sound great. Every time I think of Boston, of course, I think of the Canadian American Club.
Yeah.
And going down there to play for dances, and playing with piano players like Eddie Irwin. And others, of course, and hearing fiddlers like John Campbell and so many others. Did you have you guys ever played at the Canadian American Club?
All the time.
Constantly.
Yeah.
There's some weeks when I'm like, I wish I could go home from the Canadian American Club.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
And what about yourself?
I like you say, I grew up mostly in Maine, in Portland, but Portland is pretty close to Boston, and I was born around Boston. My parents are both pretty involved in the Scottish and Cape Breton music and dance scenes in New England, and my dad started a group years ago called the Boston Scottish Fiddle Club, which he was still doing even when they moved. My parents moved to Maine, so I was down in Boston with them, tagging along all the time, and that group is a big piece of what's happening in Boston and been happening in Boston for a while with both Boston, it being a meeting place for Scottish and Cape Breton music, as well as Boston's own thing. So I grew up around a lot of that, and he would run these annual concerts through the club called the Scottish Fiddle Rally, and again, like Katie was talking about with the fiddle school she went to, there would always be a soloist from Cape Breton and always a soloist from Scotland, and that was a pretty exciting thing to be around.
So would you two be singing each other as you were younger, or like when you were like teenagers, that sort of thing?
Surprisingly, not that much.
No. I feel like you were kind of up in Maine for a couple years. So we didn't meet until we were I think I was in college, and I heard Neil playing with Laura Risk in Boston. Laura's like a great, she lives in Quebec now. She's also from California. So I heard you play that night, and you don't remember meeting me that night, but I don't know, when we were in our late teens, early 20s.
Yeah, I was coming down with my parents as a younger kid, but you go to school and then you kind of, you can't travel, you can't just jump in the car with your parents as much, and you don't want to when you're a teen.
Exactly.
But it was all in that years, from growing up around that, and my mom's also a step dancer and Highland dancer, and I grew up learning to do that too, which I think is really...
And you're a step dancer yourself.
I am. And I'm really...
Well, I guess you both would step dance.
No.
No?
We'll leave it to
all right.
Yeah.
For square sets.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Well, I'm really grateful for that, because I think you understand the music a lot better if you know how to dance.
Yeah, it makes a difference for sure. Well, we'll get back to some more questions after a bit. I know everyone wants to hear some tunes.
All right.
For sure.
Yeah.
And any thoughts to what you might play next?
Do you want to play, maybe we'll play two old Scottish jigs. The first one is called Lady Elizabeth Cole. It's by Robert McIntosh.
Okay.
And then we'll go into one called Mr. Morrison of Bogney. And that one's by William Marshall. Nice. So two old tunes that I don't really hear being played around here very much. And one of them I learned from my teacher Hanukkah, and then the other one probably playing for some dancing.
Picked it up somewhere.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Great. Good to have you.
Thanks for having me.
You give an intro on this one?
If you want.
Oh, 1, 2, 3.
Awesome. Nice jigs.
They're pretty, aren't
They're
they?
pretty, and they're not ones that you hear often around at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really like it.
Yeah.
Unusual.
Really nice.
Yeah, they're
Do you find yourselves going to books a lot to find your tunes, or are you finding them more from different musicians, or is it just a combination of
well.
it all?
This sort of like it's always been like a little of both, but I'm here doing this artist in residency, working on a new record of tunes,
Nice.
and I've really actually, for the first time in my life, I'm being the kind of like academic fiddle player that I always dreamed I would be someday, and like going through a bunch of the old collections,
Nice.
which is really eye-opening, and just
And important, not only for yourself but for other musicians.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's been really cool.
You found some.
I found
tunes?
some really cool tunes. Kenneth handed me a stack from this library. He handed me a stack of pipe collections that I've been reading through, and then I have a couple of old like Gaelic song and tune collections that I've also been going through. And I think I have the makings of just about a whole album, mostly of like Gaelic tunes, just like simple, pretty tunes,
Nice.
which I'm really excited about doing.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, thanks to the Shannon family was very instrumental in helping us put together the Artists in Residence program here.
Yeah.
And so thanks to their generosity to Joe Shannon and his family, and that's allowed us to have a lot of great people coming through the door now, including yourselves, for 6 weeks. And so working on different projects.
Yeah.
And what about yourself? What are you working on, Nina?
Well, a couple of years ago, I guess now, but I dipped my toe into the waters of like doing solo piano, and I thought I'd try making a solo piano record. And I was basically, the idea for that record was mostly to look at Gaelic song melodies and interpret them on the piano and take them in different directions, just kind of see what was inspiring about them. And I really enjoyed doing it, and when I was taking that album on the road and playing some gigs, I was taking it to places where people spoke Gaelic and knew the songs that I was playing.
Yeah.
And it was a really exciting thing to do, and I really enjoyed doing it, but I found that I really wished I had more Gaelic myself as I was starting to dig deeper into that repertoire and connect more to that community. So I've kind of set a goal for myself with this residency to start to kind of create the vision for what my next album in that project will be. And part of that process has been to really dive into all the resources to learn Gaelic here. So I've been working a lot on my Gaelic in all of the classes around the community, trying to connect to Gaelic speakers, and also just doing a lot of research on some folklore of some different directions of things that might lead me to some interesting songs, and also some of my own like genealogical work, like actually looking at what parts of the Highlands did my family come from and what songs would be connected to their history.
Cool.
So I've been doing like some digging about that and
awesome.
envisioning. It's been really an eye-opening, exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, it changes the way you look at a tune.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not, playing the tune, but to know some of the words or to understand maybe the way the melody has changed over the years too.
Yes.
Or played in different parts around the world.
Yeah.
Speaking of your CDs, so
that's the one I was talking about.
That's the one that Neil was just talking about, Refractions. So if you see this for sale somewhere, make sure you buy it. And you're going to get some great piano on it. And also, we have Katie's latest one.
Well, this is a
kind of a combo with two of you.
yeah, it's a band we have with a couple folks from Maine, and this is actually digging into music from New England, dance music.
New England
from
dance
New
music.
England, yeah.
And that is Pine Tree Flyers, but they both are involved in other CDs over the years
That's true. Yeah.
as well. So just if you Google them, you can find out what all the different ones that they're involved in or have created or whatever it might be, and or download their music, whatever find a way to support them as musicians.
We both have websites that are just our
Yeah.
own, KatieMcNally.com, NeilPearlman.com, and all that
Perfect.
goes on there.
And then you can find out everything about them.
Yeah.
Everything. Now they are a couple as well.
Yes.
It's a big year coming up.
Yeah.
for
That's
you.
true.
Yeah.
And so you're engaged to be married.
We're getting married in September.
In
yeah.
September, so that's exciting.
Yep.
And so another music power couple here. And so we're loving having you here. And I do want to say I can't forget that. Please, for those that are watching. Both our guests have taught at the Gaelic College, and you know the programs that we offer through the college are in large part supported because of a lot of donations we get from people and organizations. So I'm just putting a little shout out. If you want to make a donation to the Gaelic College, please do so. The information is online. And Ryan will make sure it's posted. If not, you can contact us as well. If you'd like to sponsor a Wednesday night Ceilidh in someone's memory, my email will be put up as well. Email me or call me, and we'll make sure that we do so, and we can do it, in memory of a loved one, or maybe not even in memory of someone. It may be for someone that's that you just want to have recognized in that way as well. Okay, so thank you very much, and thank you for the support in the past year as well. In that regard. So, we'll back to some music. Maybe we'll get Neil to play something on the piano.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on what you might be that you want to talk about?
Yeah, maybe I'll just play a medley of mash up a couple of the songs that I did on this record. One of them that I've been thinking about a lot in the research that I've been doing on this residency is Cua Ian Garav, which is a lament for Ian Garav of Rase. Who there's a lot of different stories about how his ship sank, and the story could be longer, and I won't go into it too much. But one of the stories that's really interesting is that for one reason or another, a group of witches was convened to raise a storm and sink his ship, and I was intrigued by that story and who those witches were, and have been kind of looking into some of the other stories on this. So I found that song inspiring. It's written by his sister after he died, and then I'll go into another one called Hami Focherim.
Good stuff. Neil Pearlman and Katie McNally. of applause from the audience, which is me. That was great. Nice stuff.
Thank you.
Nice stuff. Yeah. So where would you have learned those? Is it from books to them? Or
Those two are both from books, yeah.
Both
The
books.
first one, there's an amazing resource called The Songs of Gaelic Scotland by Anne Lauren Gillies. And
Yeah.
I love that book because there's so many amazing songs in it, and she tells a lot of really great stories about each one of them.
Yeah.
So it's not just the song and you move on.
Yeah, you
So-
find out exactly
Yeah.
who the composer was of the song
Yeah.
or the
Yeah.
writer of the song. Yeah.
And that's why I learned about the story
Yeah.
and all the witches involved in that. And she has all the witches named in there and everything.
Really?
It's kind of really cool, yeah.
Super
So-
cool.
And the other one I got from another book that Katie's been going through. What's the white one?
The Angus Fraser
Angus
collection.
Fraser collection. And that one is just the melodies collected a while ago.
Nice.
But really nice tune, yeah.
Awesome. So any particular things coming up this year? Like, are you heading off like to any like special festivals or anything like that offhand? Or I know like with the fall coming up and you'll be close to
Yeah.
home with the wedding and everything.
Yeah.
But is there anything you'd like to mention or anything like that I should?
Well, I'll just put in a little plug on
Yeah.
February 8th here
Yeah.
in Bin Babu. We're having a
Yes.
fundraiser
That's right.
concert. We're playing.
Yes.
You should come out. Off the top of my head, Shelley Campbell and Alan Dewar are playing.
There's a whole
Keegan,
big
really
list.
long
everyone
list.
is playing.
Yeah.
Everyone is playing. So that's the local.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss that one because I'm heading over to PEI.
Right.
So my one of my children have a hockey tournament, so I'm
Yeah.
over there. So unfortunately, I'm gonna miss it.
Yeah.
But there is a huge list of musicians, including these two great musicians and guitar players, and fiddlers, and more. And so take a look at the list. Take a look at the Bain Babu or Gaelic College websites or CBFM or wherever it might be, and you can gather the information. It's going to be a great time.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
So the restaurant here is run by Bar Down from Inverness. So at the Bain Babu, it's open throughout the week except for Mondays, but 11 until 8 o'clock. But that night there's going to be music and pub, so it'll be a bar. And that's kind of the kickoff because our intention here is to try and do more of that.
Cool.
So we want to have a lot more pub nights here for students that are going here for their Bachelor of Arts and Community Studies, but for the public in general. And that's what our goal is to connect community and the education.
Yeah.
Not only here, but of course our main site in St. Anne's at the college, that's what it's all about. And I actually was reading something from an MLA from Victoria County, I think his last name was Morrison, earlier today in a speech he gave in the legislature that someone sent me back in 2012 about the importance of wanting the province to spend more money on Gaelic education in Nova Scotia. I thought it was really cool because as the person who sent it to me at the time, Jeff McDonald, Getty Donlock, it's probably one of the first Gaelic speeches giving it in the legislature
Right.
in North America.
Wow.
Even though it was in the 1800s. So it was quite interesting. So there's always been people pushing behind the scenes, including today. So let's get some more tunes and give us a blast and do a couple more selections and a little more chatting.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Go for it.
Maybe we can do a couple tunes that I've been working on while I've been here. We'll start. I write some tunes, so we'll start with one that I wrote for my niece and nephew who passed away last year. It's called Aurora and Orion, and then we'll go into a tune that I found also in the Angus Fraser collection. Angus Fraser was the son of Captain Simon Fraser, who was a great composer of tunes and collector of tunes. He was the illegitimate son, so yes. But it's this great collection of old airs and stuff, so I'll play you a tune. The title was translated as My Sprightly Brown Maiden.
nice tune to start off with too.
Oh,
Yeah,
thanks.
beautiful.
Thanks.
Great job. And so have you both done much composing? Both of you, yeah?
Yeah.
Quite a bit?
Yeah, I think we both write a lot of tunes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up kind of doing that. My parents encouraged it. My dad wrote a lot of tunes, so it was
Yeah.
something I was interested in for a long time.
A natural thing.
Yeah, just like in the family was considered just like a normal thing to come up with your own tunes too, and like throw them into what you're playing. And so
Exactly.
that was a lot of fun. So.
What about yourself, Katie?
I think I was inspired again by my fiddle teacher, Hanukkah. She wrote a bunch of great tunes, and yeah, I definitely feel like the way I write tunes has changed a lot over the years, and recently I've been trying to write slightly like more traditional sounding tunes, and I also sometimes I just like force myself to write tunes, or like give myself rules where I'm like, I'm gonna try and write a pipe tune today.
Yeah.
And that kind of helps focus me a little bit.
Yeah. Do you ever find sometimes it's just a few a couple of measures come to you and just it's the start? And I mean, I know myself, I'll pull my phone out and just start going it's in my head.
Yes, yeah.
I'm scared I'll lose it.
Yeah.
So I can go back to it, but
I sort of have to force myself to do it. I never get handed down anything. I wish I did. But what about you, Neil?
I feel like it. I go through these phases or like a mood I'm in where there's just lots of music in my head.
Yeah.
And I've learned to not ignore that, because a couple times when often when I'm in that mood, it just seems to me like it'll always be that way. So I don't write down everything. And then I go through a dry spell. I'm like, I had all these tunes that I never wrote down just running through my head because I thought it was just whatever.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to get better about that. I wrote a whole bunch of tunes in 1 week just as the pandemic was getting started. I went away on a creative retreat, which I'd never done. I like blocked a couple days off to go away, be alone, and write music for the first time. And that happened to be the 3 days over which all my gigs got canceled, and I was off the grid, and I came back out and like everything was canceled. I was locked down. So actually, I have spent the last few years working on some arrangements of all of those original tunes, which you were asking about the stuff coming up this year. That's something I'm excited about this year. I'm going to start releasing some of that music, some of more original stuff, which is cool.
Cool. So when you say releasing it for online, or is it releasing books? Or
it's a little bit of a different project than I've done before, because it started when I couldn't get together with people, and I also knew that all the musicians I'd want to play with were stuck at home too. So I was doing it remotely and like getting it different. I was saying, this tune would be cool if this person played it. So let me try to collaborate with them on that. So every track is a little bit different musicians.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to put out it's recordings, but I'm going to try to put them out like one at a time.
Cool.
Kind of give each one its space, but maybe by the end of it I'll have maybe not a full album, but like a short EP or a long EP or a short album of that music by the end of the year or something. Yeah.
Awesome.
It was an interesting, different way to do a project,
Yeah. Well, again, Katie McNally, Neil Pearlman, from Portland, Maine. Originally from Boston area. We got to put that in.
I love Portland, but I love that dirty water too.
From Boston, a suburb of Portland.
Yeah.
Boston. Not really.
Not really.
But lots of great music. And what contra dances? Do you play for any? Do you tend to play for some contra dances in around Maine?
Yeah, I mean, I was saying, I grew up learning a lot of Scottish and Cape Breton music, but I also was playing 2 dances a month at the little hall in my town in Westford. I played with a band called Au Contraire, which if you think about it, contra, you'll get it. Just wait, there it is. And so I grew up playing 2 dances a month with them, and then I kind of stopped that for a while, and then a couple of years ago we got this project on the go called the Pine Tree Flyers, with Emily Troll on accordion and originally Owen Marshall on guitar, and we have a brand new fella, Benjamin Foss, playing guitar with us now, and we're taking old dance tunes in Maine that never really leave the dance floor. So I find that people here, like all the great players play for dances, And then a lot of people also play for concerts, and people expect to hear these tunes on the concert stage sometimes. But that isn't so much the case at home. Like, it really only stays on the dance floor.
Okay.
For the most part. There are a few people who have done it before us, but we're trying to take these tunes, elevate them to the concert stage.
Nice.
And we got to play Celtic Colors with this project in 2022. We're on the live album for that year. And so yeah, we're playing with those guys. And Neil also grew up going to Mean Fiddle Camp.
Yeah, I would say, like I said, I grew up, my mom is a like Scottish folk dancer, so I grew up with that, and contra was around, but it wasn't actually what I did as a kid. But I was around it all the time in the scene, and then I started playing for it more, and as a young adult, there were a lot of gigs to do it, and got a band together with my sister, and we played for contras pretty seriously in my early 20s, a lot. And going to the Main Fiddle Camp, it's a really good gathering place for New England music, so I played a lot of that music with friends there as a teenager. Yeah,
it's a great way to like try different things too, right? I mean, you're playing tunes. I'm sure you can explore different chords or different combos of what worked, what didn't work the next dance. Let me try this, or depending on who you're playing with on the guitar or fiddler, it's a great way to hone your skills in different ways,
Yes, absolutely.
And so all the young fiddlers that are out there, so wherever you're playing, don't be afraid to try the dances, and you don't have to have a pile of tunes to start off, even if you're just doing a few sets, even if you do a set or give a fiddler a break, and it makes a big difference.
Definitely.
And I have fond memories of going to places like Glencoe Hall and giving Buddy Master a break and things like that as a young guy, and just I'm so excited to do it, or my Uncle Ken and Beaton, or whoever it might be. So it makes a difference.
Yeah.
It makes a difference.
It really does.
Well, I really want to thank you both for being our guests this week,
Thanks for having us,
and for
Rodney.
being here at Bain Babel, and for the Gaelic College in the Gaelic. And we know you'll be back
as soon as possible.
again, and we love having you. And great friends of the people of Cape Breton, and so take a look for their music and support them, and watch out for them, and come out here on the 8th.
Yeah, please come out.
February 8th. It's a Friday evening pub night, and piles of great musicians there that night. Again, thanks for tuning in. We'll be doing the next few weeks, we're going to be heading to homes and pubs and lots of different things. We're excited about it. We love it because we don't often get a chance to chat with people. We're just hearing tunes.
Sure.
So you don't get the chance to kind of learn more about the individuals themselves. So I love these because we get a chance to do that.
It's fun.
It changes it
It's
up
great.
for everybody watching. Again, in order to keep the Ceilidhs going, in order to keep our programs going, please support the college, our youth programs in particular. We have March break programs are being advertised now. There's 2 3-day camps in March. Great opportunity to learn, whether it's fiddling or piano playing or Gaelic language or step dancing or piping, whatever it might be that interests you. Please take a look. Our adult weeks for the summer are starting to be advertised very, very soon. And then soon after that, our summer programming, the week-long programs for our youth. So that's all the list of instructors, all of the information, costs and such are all just coming out. Kitchen Fest, June 27th to July the 5th. And we'll be announcing the venues very soon, and the dates and the times, so people can start planning at least around the scheduling. And then this spring we'll announce the musicians at each of those venues. But a lot of familiar places like the Doryman or the Red Shoe or the Celtic Music Center or the Old Triangle, Bridore, Lakes in St. Peter's, all different places around the island. And take a look at our other programming at the Gaelic College website, and lots of great things. So, we'll end with a blast of tunes. Thanks again, Katie,
Thank you, Rodney.
Neil, and what are we going to leave off with?
Well, maybe we'll play you some New England tunes since we were
Oh,
just
yeah.
talking about that.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll play you Hull's Victory, which is about great ship, Old Ironsides, which we are very proud of in Boston. And then we'll go into Douglas's Hornpipe, which I first heard Ashley McIsaac playing, but we found out recently was written by, or at least popularized by, a black fiddle player who's living in mid-coast Maine, near Belfast, Maine.
In the early 1800s.
In the early 1800s.
Cool.
Called Douglas's Favorite, maybe I just said that. And then we'll finish with Lamplighters. Yeah.
Excellent.
Thanks, Rodney.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Thanks to the Gaelic College, Bain Vabu, CBFM. It's a real honor and treat and privilege to be here with you all.